Okay, welcome everyone. As I was just saying, this is teacher training weekend. Just about every month, every weekend in the month of July is actually teacher training weekend for me. So I'm very enriched by feeling and hearing how the students are evolving, what's happening for them in their teaching. And then when we come together and I get to see it and feel it, I have this effervescent enthusiasm for their experience coming through. And I am relatively confident that how I see the students in their growth and their process and my enthusiasm is different than how they have their own experience from the inside. Because we tend to feel a little bit more, we're narrating about ourselves to ourselves while we're trying to teach, or we're inside, we're like, what I left out, what I forgot to say. Sometimes on the inside we think, did I just say that poetic thing? Was that me? And all of this is a process of learning about teaching yoga and being, authentically you while you're teaching, and recognizing that as we're teaching, we're influenced by our students. So what comes through us is actually all of us. It's our shared wisdom, our shared inspiration and courage. So I'm very glad to have this morning with the students. So those of you who are in teacher training this weekend, thank you for sharing yourselves over the last few hours. Okay, let's sit for a little quiet together and we'll dive in for our practice. You can rest your hands in your lap. Let your eyes close. And of course, we all come to yoga having had a variety of experiences before we arrive here. So let's use our arriving time now. If you're coming from a place of like elevated happiness as I am, or if you're coming from a place of high distraction, or maybe a place of tenderness, or a place of contemplation, let yourself arrive for the practice that you know can do so much for you. So if you've closed your eyes and you've drawn your ears in, your senses coming back home to your body, now you can begin to lengthen the breath up and down this central channel and make the breath smooth, deliberately smooth. But don't use the breath to push out things you have aversion for. And don't use the breath to pull in things you have craving for. So if you can use the breath in a subtle way where you get to observe that sometimes you have craving and sometimes you have aversion. So I'm making a request that you don't use the breath to modify or manipulate your experiences, but to step into the part of you that witnesses, observes your experiences. And the quality of this inner observer can be benevolent, kind, earnest. Please do 3 breath cycles more, sensing the breath moving up and down the central channel, this vertical awareness. And then please bring your hands together at your heart. And we'll chant the Gayatri mantra together. Om Bhurva Svaha Tat Savitur Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Bhurva Svaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Bhurva Svaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. And with your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart and then release your hands. I'm going to scoot back so I won't hit my computer. Okay, and we're going to do a little movement with the arms, hands, and shoulders. We call it Hasta Vinyasa to awaken your capacity for pranayama in your practice. So please interlace your fingers like this. This is not unfamiliar for most of you, but new for a couple. Inhale the heels of your hands forward and up. At the top of the movement on the exhale, raise up through the inner line of your spine, up through the crown of your skull, and up towards your thumbs. Then inhale, open your arms, chest, shoulders, and heart. And exhale, return your hands to your heart, Anjali Mudra, arriving at your exhale pause. Inhale through your nose, arms up. First third, middle, and upper thirds of the breath. Then exhale to press up through the inner line of your spine, up through the crown of your skull and into your thumbs. Inhale to open. And exhale, palms together at the heart, bringing your mind back to the center of your awareness. Again, please inhale. And exhale to press upwards from the base of your pelvis through the line of the spine, but also through the line of the chakras. And inhale to open, like clearing the sky of your mind. And exhale, hands back together at your heart, arriving at the completion of your exhale. Now we're going to add to that. So inhale, float your arms up. On your exhale, bring your hands down behind your head, place your pinky fingers at the base of your skull. And inhale, sweep the elbows up and forward, gaze up. And exhale, press your arms back up, heels of the hands up. Inhale to open. And exhale, hands to your heart. Once more, inhale. So here you exhale, turn the hands so the palms are face down. Rest your pinkies at the base of your skull. And then inhale, sweep the elbows forward and up. And exhale to press up. Inhale to open. And exhale, join your hands together at your heart. Now we're going to change this slightly. So inhale, interlace your fingers, going up. Now exhale, arms wide and twist to your right. Inhale, rise up, interlace your fingers. Exhale, twist to your left, arms wide. Inhale, rise up. Once more, right. Inhale, rise up. Once more, left. Rotate to center and let yourself sit in the plumb line from where you observe with the most benevolence, the least attachment. Notice what's occurring in the upper hemisphere of your body here through the upper chest, shoulders, heart, your neck, and your throat. And then we're going to come up to standing. So you can take a wide stance on your mat, and that wide stance is going to be with your feet as wide apart as the length of one of your legs. And I'll get that. I want to make it so I can see you guys all better. So just a moment, please. I have to click a button on my monitor. There we go. Okay, so with your wide stance, you take this wide stance one length for your legs. Please come down to Prasarita Padottanasana. We spent the last week or so really exploring the breath and the pelvic floor. So I'm going to ask you to walk your hands out like they look like downward dog pose. Relax your head between your upper arms. And as you reach your hips back towards the wall behind you, root down into your heels. Make sure your pose is stable enough that you can now concentrate on the breath on the inside. So come into your Ujjayi breath. That is the slight whispering sound that your breath makes. Sounds like the ocean in the inner ear. And start the inhale at the back hemisphere of your pelvic floor. So there's a gentle widening of your sitting bones. Let the breath then come to the back of your waist, the sides of your ribs, the back of your heart. When you exhale, draw the tone first from just behind your pubic bone in towards the center of the pelvic floor, up the front of your sacrum, towards your solar plexus. As you get a sense of this in your own body and your own pace, acknowledge and respect the pause at both the top of your inhale and the bottom of your exhale. The turning point in the breath on those pauses, if you really treat them with respect, you're discovering something about neither clinging nor grasping, and also not averting nor resisting. So we don't pressure the inhale to become the exhale. We don't grasp for the inhale following the exhale. When you complete your next exhale, please walk back with your hands to your hips and rise up to standing. And I'd like you to have a couple of yoga blocks because we're going to do a little process here with twisting. And I'm going to ask you to have your twist be a little bit higher, and then we'll take it down a little bit lower. So let's come over with two firm hands on your blocks like this. So your spine can be more or less parallel to the floor right now. Okay? And then pressing into your left arm as you inhale, twist and open to your right. When you exhale, unwind your twist and reach your right hand past your left hand outside the block. Then inhale, open your twist to your right. And exhale, bring your right arm across and complete the twist with your left arm straight. Inhale, open to your right. Exhale, come down with your right arm. Keep the left arm strong. So you are asking the upper back on the right side to stretch open. And then inhale once more, twist to your right. And exhale, bring your right arm down past your left block. And then place your right hand on its block. Inhale, open to your left. Notice the strength of the right arm as a part of your pose here. Exhale, bring your left arm down and cross the block, keeping your right elbow straight. Inhale, twist. Exhale, return. Inhale, twist. And once more, exhale to return. And then place both hands on your block so that you can turn them down to the flat setting. Now this time as we go through, I'm going to ask you to pay close attention because you're reviewing the same activity more or less. So pay close attention to what your mind is doing. Let's inhale, twist to the right, and notice any navigations you have to do between craving and aversion. Exhale, unwind. So what I mean by that is noticing when you want things to be different. Inhale, twist to the right. Also noticing when you want things to stay the same. Exhale, unwind. So noticing when you have moments that you're feeling like, oh, good, and moments when you feel like, oh, what am I doing? Inhale, open to your right. And exhale, unwind. We'll do it one more time. See if you can watch those mind habits from the vantage point of craving and aversion are happening, and not from the vantage point of judging yourself for having craving and aversion. And place your right hand on its block, please. Let's go to the other side. Inhale, twist left. And exhale to come down. Inhale, twist left. Exhale, unwind, noticing your mind. There may be places where you have an instinct or reflex for craving or for aversion. One more time, please. Inhale to open left. And exhale to unwind. And place both hands on your blocks, then hands on your hips. Rise up to standing. And then you can step your feet together, and please approach your screen so you can watch me for a moment. I'm going to take us into a nuance in this pose, and I want you to be able to see it. So when we come for the down twist, most of us don't focus so much on the down twist as we have focused in yoga classes on the up twist. We're going to focus on the down twist. When we come to this moment here and you're reaching your hand across, so right hand across, I'm going to ask you to fix it against the block and then lean back and really give a chance to stretch the right hemisphere of the back of your body. We're going to stay and let that process happen. When we go to the other side, likewise, you'll be crossing your hand over, and as you'll do that in your own timing, in your own way, we're going to then lean back to stretch the back hemisphere of the body so that you're kind of unwrapping or unwinding the tension pattern that you may have back through here. Okay, let's see how it goes, please. So you can come over to your Prasarita Padottanasana, and let's do the right side first. First, we'll take the wingtip of the right arm up to the sky. So inhale, open to your right. And then exhale. Now keep both legs strong. Reach your right arm past your left. Fix it against the side of your block. You might find that you're bending your left elbow. That is okay this time. Roll into your upper back on the right side. And keeping the back of your right forearm fixed on the block, let the breath come in to find the right hemisphere of your pelvic floor, right lower back, right side ribs, right upper back. Now press into your left arm and slowly straighten your left elbow if it was bent, and just drag the right arm across so it's a decoration. And when you feel like life is inviting it to happen, then sail your right arm up like a wingtip to the sky. And bring your right hand back down to your block, please. Let's do the other side. Energize your right arm. Inhale, raise your left arm. And then exhale, bring your left arm down, cross it over so that you've got the back of your forearm fixed to the block, which is made firm by your right hand. You can roll into the back hemisphere of your body, left rib cage, left shoulder blade. And take a few moments to notice the breath coming into the left hemisphere of your pelvic floor. Left lower back, side ribs, shoulder blade. Include the awareness at your pelvic floor. Since your pelvic floor is aware of what you are doing, I'm recommending that you are aware of what your pelvic floor is doing. Now begin to press firmly into your right hand and let the left arm be like a decoration. So it's just dragging across the blocks, and then you bring a little life to it. Inhale to open to your left. And then exhale to release. And let's put the two blocks aside, please, and walk into downward facing dog pose. And when you get to downward dog pose, I'd like you to really notice any access you have to the upper back, any change, any strength, anything that's come through for you in the space of that unwinding. And in this downward dog pose, if you're able to press firmly into your index fingers and your thumbs, energize both arms and imagine wrapping your triceps in towards your nose and your shoulder blades around the back of your heart some. When this is really secure and you have the stamina for it, the timing that you give yourself for noticing the pelvic floor is much more luxurious. So now I'm going to ask you again to inhale to the back hemisphere of the pelvic floor, the back of your sacrum, the sides of your ribs, the back of your heart. And then exhale on the front from your pubic bone towards your perineum, up the front of the sacrum towards your solar plexus. And respect the turnaround that you have from the inhale pause to the exhale and vice versa. And then slowly lower your knees to the floor. Walk your hands back towards your knees and reach for a blanket to roll up. I'd like you to roll your blanket so it's going to be ready for you in a certain way. I think you have not yet eaten your lunch, unless you're on the East Coast, maybe you already did. But if you're in Alaska or here on Pacific time, I think you haven't yet eaten your lunch. And I'm going to ask you to check something out that you can lie on your belly button and have your blocks. This is going to be for a little research in cobra pose. So this is my setup here. 2 blocks and the blanket. So something I'm going to ask you to watch for a few moments is that when I start this cobra pose, my arms will look like grasshoppers, like I'm a grasshopper doing yoga. Because of the blocks, the elbows will be higher. But it's a place where you're going to still work the shoulders to move back. So we just opened the back of the heart. Now we're going to try to open the front of the chest and the heart. So please watch just for a few moments. When I come onto my belly button, yes, I'm on the belly button, on the blanket roll. If your blanket roll is so thick that you're on this and both your floating ribs and your hip bones are touching, you can unwind your blanket roll a little bit and make it less voluminous. Okay, so the belly button is on the blanket roll, and my elbows, like I said, they might look like grasshoppers for the moment. And I'm going to ask you to let the torso rest down, forehead down. And then as we go into the practice, you're going to be working with the legs and slowly working through your torso. You'll be rising up. You can watch this moment here where I just come up to the height that I can press firmly down against the blocks. And then I'm going to be rolling back down. So that took some pressure off the blanket, and then I willingly allow the pressure of the blanket to return. Okay, so let's do it together, please. You have your 2 blocks and your blanket roll. You also have my great happiness for you, my joy for you to have this experience. So the palms on your blocks, and you can bring your forehead down to the floor. And try sensing the breath now in a purposeful way that you could inhale into the low belly, across the back of your waist, your sacrum. But also notice the influence your breath can have at the back hemisphere of your pelvic floor. And then energize your legs so you can press down with the tops of both feet and both knees to energize your thigh muscles. Root your tailbone down. Lift the base of your skull, the backs of your shoulders, the front of your heart. Press into your hands, keeping your shoulders back, upper arms back. Cobra pose takes the weight off the blanket roll. Let's breathe in. And then exhale and slowly glide down. So yes, there's your blanket roll again. Keep the shoulders back. Let the diaphragm come over, the blanket roll. Release your forehead. Breathe into the back of your waist.
Exhale, energize your legs, lengthen your tailbone, and then begin with an inhale to slowly roll up. Lift from the base of your skull, the back of your shoulders, the back of your heart. Press down with both palms firmly so your heart is rising on the front side. And then exhale and lower down, greeting the belly bolster without aversion or craving, but of course also observing just what arises. Last time, inhale while you're down here, let the back of the waist expand. Exhale, energize your legs. Begin the journey upwards, breathing in. And this time, as you exhale to roll down, you get about partway down, press into both hands firmly and float up to table pose. Bring one block back for child's pose. Walk your hands out over your blanket roll so you can stretch. Your fingertips can reach the floor, but your wrists can be supported by the blanket. It's okay to open the knees to let the belly relax between your inner thighs. And then walk your hands back towards your knees and rise up to kneeling and then come up to standing. There are times where we didn't even know that the body was holding tension. So if that was your discovery just now, I celebrate you. Step up to your blanket roll so your feet are on the roll. Yes. Neither heels nor toes are touching. Looks like my head is getting cut off. It is. It's not in the frame. I'm sorry. So, yeah. What to say? I don't know. It gets changed a little bit day to day. Yeah, alrighty. So you're like a bird on a dowel. There you are. Join your hands together, please. Press your toes down. Find your heels and see if you can sense there is a support under each arch. Can that support become intuition about the pelvic floor? As you tone your leg muscles, please don't grip them or you lose your relationship with the pelvic floor. So yes, tone your leg muscles, and yes, let the breath come down to touch the pelvic floor to begin your inhale. Now with your next inhale, sweep your hands down, wide and up. Try to remember your cobra pose from a few moments ago. I'm going to ask you to exhale, pull your elbows down, place your palms as if you were doing yoga on a standing sort of platform here. There's your cobra. And then inhale, reach back up, gaze forward. And exhale, arms wide. Remember how you stretched the back hemisphere of the body before? Use that full wingspan. Touch the two blocks, Uttanasana. Inhale, glide your heart forward. First, back of the pelvic floor, back of the sacrum, back of the heart, front of the heart. Exhale, left toes straight back, please. Inhale to rise. Yes, your right foot is still on your blanket. Okay, let's exhale. Pretend you're doing cobra pose on the floor. Inhale to go up, gaze forward. Exhale, arms wide, slow and steady.
Inhale, step forward, heart forward. Exhale, right toes back. Tone the front of the pelvic floor. Inhale, rise up, root down through your tailbone. You are balancing on your left foot on your blanket roll. Pretend you're doing cobra pose. Inhale to reach up, gaze forward. And exhale, arms wide. Stretch your wingspan out to the horizons. Touch the two blocks and step backwards to downward dog pose. Then exhale, forward to plank pose. Inhale, cat pose. Exhale, cow pose. Inhale, seal pose. Exhale, melt down, cobra pose. Inhale, rise up, seal pose. Exhale, table pose. Inhale, downward dog pose. Exhale, right foot forward on your blanket. Touch your left knee down. Inhale, Asana. And let's pretend we're doing cobra pose. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, arms wide. Touch the two blocks. Step backwards, inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale, left foot forward on your blanket roll. Touch your right knee down. This time, exhale, rise up, Asana. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, arms up. And this time, inhale, arms wide. And exhale, plank pose. Inhale, downward facing dog pose. And exhale, knees down, coming towards child's pose. And once more, you can take a block for your head and drape your wrists out over your blanket. And as your body is allowed to become relatively still now, come back into how you observe any of the flickers of craving or aversion, grasping or resistance, in any of the ways that those things show up for you. And please walk your hands back towards your knees. Press down against the floor, roll up to kneeling, and take one block to sit on. So we're going to sit with the two sitting bones like this. You're sitting on your block as if you were, some of you tell me that you like this, but I don't have a better image for the actual experience. So let me describe, almost like the old bicycle seat. So you're sitting where your two sitting bones are on either side of the block like that. And you should have a greater sense of, oh, there's the pelvic floor. You can rest your hands in your lap. And see if the breath can come down, down past the ceiling fan of the mind, down, down, down past the residue of stress or tension. And the breath come down to touch the pelvic floor on your inhale. There's a gentle quality of toning on the exhale. Now I'm going to ask you to place your hands on your hip bones so you can sense where the pelvic bones are. Roll your spine and your pelvis forward so you can feel, I don't want the pubic bone to run into the block, but you will feel the edges of your sitting bones. And then roll this the other way. You'll feel the inside edge of your sitting bones. So roll forward. This is called an anterior tilt. And then roll back. This is called a posterior tilt. When you next roll forward, inhale to the back hemisphere of the pelvic floor first. When you roll back, exhale from the front hemisphere of the pelvic floor first. You can picture that the breath is helping you to move your pelvis, which is causing you to undulate your spine. So inhale, back hemisphere of the pelvic floor, and then up the back of the body actually. And then exhale, front hemisphere of the pelvic floor, and up the front line of the body. Let's do that one more time, please. You follow your breath cycle. There you go. The whole spine undulates like seaweed in the ocean, attached to the ocean floor, responding to the currents of the ocean. So when you come up to what you think of as center this time, try to feel out where is center. And then let your hands just rest in your lap for a moment. Whatever you experience that center to be, my hope is that there's a deeply quiet, non-craving, non-aversion, non-grasping, non-resistance. And then please come down with your blanket roll. Come down to the floor. What I would recommend you do is, if your blanket roll got a little bit mushy or lumpy, that you firmly roll it one more time, please. And take it across the yoga mat so that when you lie on your back, you're going to lie down with your hips on the blanket roll. And let the knees come up to the chest, please. So you just have the blanket roll. It's kind of under the bottom half of your sacrum, really. The tailbone won't touch the blanket roll in this case. And hopefully your knees have an ability to come in towards your chest. You can reach up to hold behind your hamstrings, between your hamstrings and your calves. Imagine the shoulders are doing cobra pose. You're going to press your shoulders down towards the floor. And keep the heart on the upper back broad, but also on the front side broad. And bring your attention down to your pelvis and your pelvic floor. And see to what extent you can allow the breath to come in to the pelvic basin and to be greeted by the pelvic floor. Relax your eyebrows, the space between your eyes, the corners of your eyes, your tongue. Imagine all 5 senses deeply relaxing so that you just sense in a very quiet way the inhale touches the pelvic floor. And kind of just say to the pelvic floor, hi, we have not forgotten how important you are, the vital function that you play. When you exhale, just let your body kind of sigh. You don't have to think about toning your pelvic floor during this exhale. It's positional and gravitational. It already has support. So inhale to touch the pelvic floor. Keeping your eyes relaxed, your tongue at ease. Let the exhale act like a little sigh. And then releasing your hands, you can slowly touch your toes to the floor with the knees bent. Pick up your hips and place the blanket now right behind your sitting bones so that when you stretch your legs out to Shavasana, you have this support just at the very upper part of the hamstring, right behind your sitting bones. You can close your eyes if that's how you practice Shavasana. And then give yourself this opportunity here. I'm going to talk you through something related to the pelvic floor and the senses. Craving, grasping, aversion, and resistance. So keeping your awareness at the pelvic floor, I'm going to ask you to soften right between your eyebrows and see what message can be sent to the pelvic floor. Relax your eyes. So your eyelids quietly drape over the eyes. They are not pressuring. And see what message can be sent to the pelvic floor. Relax the corners of your eyes. Notice what can happen at the pelvic floor. And keeping awareness at the pelvic floor, relax the space behind your eyes. As you say to your eyes, not right now seeking, not right now grasping, not right now averting, nor resisting. We welcome the present moment as it is. Notice what occurs there at your pelvic floor. And keeping your eyes relaxed, begin now from the outer ear to the middle ear
to each inner ear. A deep relaxation. And notice the message that your ears can offer to your pelvic floor. It's likely a wordless message, something more somatic, not more linguistic. And to the eyes and the ears, we say, not right now seeking, not right now craving, not right now averting, not right now resisting. We rest in the present moment as it is. Just allow yourself to focus moment to moment on the ease for your eyes and your ears and how they send a message to the pelvic floor. Our senses and our pelvic floor, they have a very intimate relationship. We are easily put on alert. We are practicing coming back home right now. Begin to relax your tongue and the hinge of your jaw, while keeping your eyes and your ears at ease. Add a deep release for your tongue, the hinge of your jaw. So not right now seeking, not right now craving, not right now resisting, nor any sense of pressure. Notice how your senses can send the message to the pelvic floor. Gate, gate, para gate, para som gate, para som gate. Welcome yourself to have the homecoming deepest available in this moment. The eyes, the ears, the tongue together can send a message to the pelvic floor.
And then you may just become aware there's a surround experience in your environment. Can this inner equanimity flow outwards? To put aside the racing experiences of craving and aversion. To come into your inner equanimity. And then to bring that outwards, the place from where we act, from where we speak, the change we can facilitate, the actions we can be catalysts for. It is different. So sense what flows out from you right now from this center place. And you may just lightly deepen your breathing. And gently wiggle your toes, your fingers. And bend your knees as you're ready to. And roll to your side. You're very brave to practice yoga like this, to not seek only the physical release from asana, but to have the courage of heart. And please come to sit where you can sense your inner courage and also this wise equanimity we call Upeksha in Sanskrit. So in the teachings of yoga, we say there are 5 causes of suffering. At the base, the cause of suffering is called abhinivesha. At the pelvic floor, first chakra, this sense of fear. Second chakra, like a pendulum, swinging side to side between raga and dvesha, craving and aversion, craving and aversion. At the third chakra, the sense of suffering that comes from asmita, feeling we are a separate self that has to be not only built up and decorated, but defended, added to, protected. And that rises up into the upper chakras where we experience avidya, the absence of knowing our deepest, truest nature. So equanimity is to help us lessen the swinging of the pendulum of raga and dvesha, craving and aversion, and to help us come back home to reassure at the pelvic floor. To remind us that we are not an individual self needing to be decorated. We are a part of a collective. Our voice matters, our presence matters. We belong to each other. And then we can see the true nature in ourselves and in everything. Please join your hands at your heart. The 5 causes of suffering, the 4 qualities of heart, the Brahmaviharas, the 5 yamas, the 5 niyamas, the 10 yamas, the 12 niyamas, the 26 qualities of the sattvic heart, the 100 ways in which the human mind goes out of balance. We have a lot to work with. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we have inner peace. We have peace amongst us. May there be peace in all the realms. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Namaste. I know that sometimes I'm a little bit mischievous.